Time's up, I done touchdown. I'm high stepping for the touchdown. I stay repping for the slums where the young bucks started loaded up just to bust.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. Hello and welcome. Please welcome our esteemed panel. For the Texans, we have Matt Briggs.
Come on, Trey. Deadline. Let's get it going. Get Deshaun out of here. Let's go.
For the Colts, we have Harish.
Listen, it was ugly, but you do what you got to do to win the game.
And finally, with the Titans, we have Ray. Say hello.
Hey, let's keep shocking the world, baby. Let's keep shocking the world, baby. Let's go for it.
And with the Jaguars being the one team that didn't play this week, we didn't lose. So there is no Jaguars panelists this week. But let's start off with some news and notes. What news and notes do we have around the league?
The obvious one is Deshaun Watson. Right? The obvious one is Deshaun Watson. You know, rumored that there is a deal close to the Dolphins. Some minor details to be worked out. Deshaun wants a new contract so he can pay his hose. And the Dolphins want a handler so they can babysit him while he pays his hose.
Yeah.
Wow.
And plus, to piggyback off that, the NFL approved you trade 4 years worth of draft picks, so the Texans can get the Dolphins' next 4 number-round picks. I'll be okay with it.
Are there any other teams out there that are looking to trade for Deshaun Watson? Like, if you guys had to pick one team individually, who do you think the dark horse or the other team that could come in there and sweep Deshaun Watson away?
I'll go first. I honestly think it's the Eagles. The Cowboys are running away with that division, but they can still make the playoffs and they can still, do some damage. With Deshaun Watson as the quarterback, they're a lot better, and they have 3 first-round picks. So, they have the best to offer the Texans. So,
a team I don't really know about. I don't know what assets they have to trade off, but a team I think that's going to start looking around, especially that has a great defense already and just needs some help. They got some receivers, is a Washington football team. I think it's a very interesting team for Deshaun. I think he'd go to a team that has some receivers, some playmakers, and an excellent defense that's just tired, right? Taylor Heinicke was cool. He's this year's Gardner Minshew. He was cool for a couple of games, but at the end of the day, they need somebody that can move the needle, and Deshaun Watson can be that guy. So I don't know if they have the assets. Maybe this opens it up for them, and maybe they throw some people in there and some picks, and probably could make some noise. So I'm actually very interested in what.
Well, one of the trades that's talk about going down is that Watson is part of the deal. They get Tua. And I think Xavier Howard and Zach Cunningham for their first-round draft pick. Mm-hmm. And that draft pick goes to the Texans for Deshaun Watson.
Has there been any 3-team trades like that, like in the past? I can't recall any offhand.
Nothing.
I want to say one happened this year, but I'm not sure what team it was.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. It's not off the top of my head.
Like, you see it a lot in baseball, but you don't really see it a lot. And you see it a lot in the NBA. Yeah, in the NBA. But you don't see it a lot in the NFL, which is always very interesting. Ray, where do you think Deshaun Watson's going? If you had your pick, if you were a GM of any team in the league, where do you think he's going?
I think both of y'all had
some people like a soft
great,
mattress, right?
I do.
But some people
so both of you guys had great ideas.
Sore neck and back.
But a mattress.
What the hell? Both had great ideas on where he should go. I think NFC East.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to look at it, man. The way the Cowboys are going to go away with it right now. So they need another quarterback in there. Carolina Panthers. might be another option as well. But I don't think that's sexy for Deshaun. But we'll see. But I could definitely see him at the Redskins.
Absolutely. I definitely think I'm going to throw a dark horse out there that someone that no one's even think about is one of the two New York teams, either the Giants making a play to get a quarterback or even bundling some kind of package together with the Jets as 2 first-round picks and Zach Wilson to go get a quarterback that's proven to the Texans is one thing I was thinking about before we decided to get on was the Jets. I thought that'd be a good trade for both of them, but that's obviously speculating.
I live up here in Kansas City, and a lot of their fans want Pat Mahomes gone. So, I mean, as a Texan fan, I take Pat Mahomes for Deshaun Watson, the first round pick. Straight up. Like, I'll take him in a heartbeat. So,
let's be real, though. Tua is not really that attractive of a trade package. Tua is not really like.
He did have a good game this week, but I agree with you.
But again, what do you bring Tua, and are you just going to bench David Mills? Are you just going to bench Taylor?
No. Tua is going to the Redskins.
Oh, that's the 3-team trade.
Yes,
that makes sense.
Wow. Okay.
Tua, Howard, and Cunningham to the Redskins.
Oh, to help make the deal work. Oh wow!
Well,
imagine if that defense gets Xavier Howard, like Jesus.
Well, because they have to move that contract because. They can't have Howard and Watson on the same cap space,
right? Because isn't Watson like $300 million, like almost $30 million cap hit?
Yeah, he's the second highest paid player in the NFL. So,
wow,
got it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So, any other news and notes to talk about? I have one, and I think it's a really feel-good story, and that's D'Ernest Johnson. I think it's his name, the running back with the Browns, with Nick Chubb going down and then Kareem Hunt going down last week. He stepped in this week and did really well. And I think that's a good feel-good story. I think he sent messages to all the CFL teams to try to get a shot to go play with him. And then the Browns picked him up and he started it, and he did phenomenal this week. So I think that's other news and notes to talk about. You guys got anything else?
Tom Brady threw for 600 touchdowns this week, and also gave the game ball to a kid who was holding a sign that said Tom Brady helped him beat brain cancer. So I mean, it's Tampa Tom, man, is a different beast.
Hey, man.
You can't hate the guy. Tampa Tom is great. So and I guess Mike Evans caught the 600 ball, and he was so excited he threw it in the stands. Tom Brady was kind of pissed off about that. So
I would be too.
So they went to the guy, and I forget. I mean, they paid the dude. I mean, they gave him a whole bunch of tickets, a whole bunch of autographs, and money to get that ball back from Tom Brady.
Still not the same amount he would have gotten on eBay, but hey, he got
right.
That's $1 million ball, easy.
Wow, that's an awkward position to be in. Because you imagine you get the football, but you're in the stadium, and everybody's coming around you like pressuring you. Like hey, ball. Versus you just like I would just run out the stadium. I would get a lawyer up and be like, if I have time to have an actual debate,
security
like in the stadium, kind of like at a car dealership. Like you're in their territory.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was literally like a trade offer right inside of the stadium happening.
Yeah,
for a football, it's insane. I do want to give a little shout out, and we'll talk about him later on when we talk about the Colts Niners game. But Elijah Mitchell, I want to give him a little shout out. He played really well for 2 drives. Actually, pretty throughout the game. That wasn't a knock or anything, but really had us on our toes for a little bit. And I think he's a good running back. Another rookie, right? 6th-round pick. Obviously, San Francisco's banged up, so he runs really well. Like, dude's got some speed on him.
Killed my fantasy team. So
yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. So all right, guys, let's dive right into the games. Let's start out with the Titans game. Ray, give us your take on it.
I think we came out the gates, firing right off the gates. I think we kind of did what Kansas City wanted to do. come out for a big lead, take Henry out the game, make us pass it. We kind of came out the gates just on point. To be honest, I've never seen our defense that good. I was really worried about a defense. Missing like 4 corners. We've literally had somebody just come off waivers, got him, and he played in his game. Like he got there Tuesday and played Sunday. So really, really surprised how good the defense stepped up. Really, Kansas really kind of sold out for the run to shut Henry down, but that over the play action pass. I think Tenney was like 6 for 6 for play action passes. So I mean, it would just open up the floodgates. So yeah, you might have shut Henry down, kept Henry from getting 100 yards, but that opened it up. AJ Brown had a huge game. So it was a really good game. 2 big games in 6 days.
I wasn't gonna say this in the chat because I didn't want none of y'all assholes to keep the receipts. But I was watching the game, and at one point, Tannehill went, I think, 16 for 16. I was like, dude, this guy is balling like straight. And he would have 17 for 17, but I think it was Julio or AJ Brown dropped the ball on an open pass. I was like, man, he's actually looking really good for all the shit we were talking.
Yeah. So
yeah. I actually woke up late. It was like 12:30, and all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, Derrick Henry threw a touchdown." I was like, "All right, let's go see what's going on." And by the time I flipped, it was almost 21-0, and I was just like, 2 things went through my mind. Damn, this Titans team is starting to put it together, and that's kind of scary.
Yep.
Number 2, this Kansas City defense is god awful.
Mm-hmm. Wow. The offense is too.
Yeah, Mahomes is trying to do too much. He's really forcing it. He's trying to be like a damn Madden player. Like he's trying to be like, you know what I'm saying? You got to play the system. There was a lot of times I was watching it and I was like, damn, he could have checked that ball down, but he tried to go for the big play. And I guess he kind of had to because they were behind. But
you know what Mahomes' play right now reminds me of? Carson Wentz last year when he had nothing.
Yeah.
Just trying to make something happen, right? Offensive line is god-awful. You're getting hit on every snap. You have no run game. To me, in a way, it's almost like, well, welcome back from the honeymoon. You know what I mean? Like, this is what it's really like when you really try to grind it out when you don't have your guys. Tyreek Hill is dropping footballs. Travis Kelce is yelling at a pass interference that doesn't even happen. Like, this is what...
20 feet over his head.
Well, not only that, he tried to say that his horse collar was grabbed, and it wasn't, right? So It's just like, this is what 31 other teams go through pretty much every week, right? You grind it out, and they just don't have the players to grind it out.
It doesn't matter how much money you throw at the offensive line is obviously not fixed. Pat Mahomes is still running for his life, so I mean that doesn't help at all.
Which is really surprising, right? I mean, they did throw a lot of money. They got Orlando Brown, they got Joe Thuney, like they got a bunch of really good guys, but that's a little surprising to me.
But it goes to show this is the thing where you say, this is why me as a Colts fan, we start out slow every year, but we pick up. The draft is so goddamn important. Like you've got to develop guys, you've got to draft right. And, just throwing money at people just isn't going to fix everything. So, you should sparingly, situationally do it. And I think that causes for long-term success. The Rams are they're eking into the same thing, right? They kind of thrown the kitchen sink to do it a year or two. They're going to be in the same position in a couple of years. Because, you can always create cap space. You can, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate to success. And
right.
Especially when you have a dude that's making $500 million a year. That's like 60% of your budget, right? 70% of your budget. So you've got to draft well, and you have to have a mix. And I think the mix is right, and you've got to set a foundation through the draft and then sprinkle those in. And it's catching up to them at this point.
Absolutely. Well, I think the Titans are trending in the right direction. Harish, let's go to you about the Colts. Pretty fun game, I think.
That was messy, man. That was ugly. It was an ugly game, and we were talking about this pre-show, and Jesus, man, if we don't get this misdirection bootleg thing figured out, Tennessee's going to eat us alive next week. This defense, and Carson Wentz in the first half looked uncomfortable. He looked, I wouldn't say lost. He was just uncomfortable. Jonathan Taylor right off the bat. The one thing I will give Frank Reich credit for is he did not take Jonathan Taylor out of the game plan. Because if he did that, it would have been really bad. I'm just glad Frank Reich stuck to his guns. He stuck to the game plan. Ugly game. Ugly game. Second half, Carson Wentz looked very comfortable. There are a couple balls that he throws deep, and the first one was right in the breadbasket of Michael Pittman Jr., the 56-yard bomb that led to a touchdown. But after that, I don't know if it was a combination of the wind and the rain, but a lot of those balls were underthrown. I think we had something like 200 yards in pass interference yards, and the receivers were wide open, right? So it's like a lot of it was just throw it up there, and then they had a corner on one that just literally ran into Michael Pittman, and he was just like, wait, what's going on? The one thing I want to talk about, and we could talk about this, is the stupid punt that went into the end zone for a touchback that was kicked by the returner, but then was counted as a muffed punt. But because he kicked it into the end zone, they called it a touchback. So that was really confusing because I'm pretty sure that was a safety. But apparently there's a rule to where if it counts as a muff. So until they fix it, if you muff a punt, kick the damn thing into the end zone, it's a touchback. So I'm not really a fan of rewarding stupid plays, and that's essentially what the 49ers got. They got a reward for doing a dumb thing. And thankfully it didn't matter in the end because Jimmy G is so goddamn awful. But that could have been a huge point of the game, especially, that they were basically stonewalled after that first possession. And it could have been really bad, but thankfully it wasn't. But good overall team effort. I thought the best player on the field was Michael Pittman Jr. Defensively, nobody gives any credit to Al-Qadir Muhammad. He's basically playing that Danico Autry defensive end guy, coming in on key possessions and bringing a pass rush. So kudos to Al-Qadir Muhammad and kudos. Thankfully, we got that one because we needed that one, and obviously we have another big one this week. So.
I dig it. Yeah, Michael Pittman popped off for me. Thank you. All my fantasy teams appreciate that. So
all we did was tell you that all year, but hey, only some people listened.
Yeah. It's funny because last year, I thought Trey Burton was going to be the Michael Pittman of the offense, or whenever he was there last, but it just never panned out. So
just took some time. Yeah, he was a drag merchant last year. This year he's becoming the deep threat, and I think having somebody like Carson Wentz helps with that, right? You have a quarterback that's not only able to, but willing to throw it down the field multiple times, regardless of the results, and give him an opportunity. Like, dude, 6'5", give an opportunity to go up and get it. And he did that a couple times. So very happy with the game plan, and on to Tennessee for a huge one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I'm ready for it.
So, Matt, tell us about the Texans, man.
Well, man, the Cardinals played good. Kyle Murray now. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, cutting Merciless before the game and Andre Roberts, you got to have a feeling that it's tank mode. Yeah, nobody in the Texans are going to say it, but they're about to trade Deshaun Watson. Everybody and their mama's out on the block. I mean, you knew what this game was going to be. But surprisingly, the first quarter, the Texans were up 5-0 with the safety. I was real impressed with the defense. They were getting at the Cardinals. I believe they got stat-wise, they got 4 sacks, but they did tackle Kyler Murray behind for tackle for loss because he was running the ball. But I think like 9 times they got him behind the line. Jonathan Grenard looking like a beast. He got 3 sacks. So, I mean, the defense is playing somewhat good, but DeAndre Hopkins came out fine. He had a statement to make. J.J. Watt looked like J.J. Watt in the past. 3 QB hits, like 4 hurries, I think. I'm not real sure. And he didn't get a sack, but he did get a pass deflection. It's going to suck all year. I mean, I know how you feel last year, Justin. It's terrible. But, I mean, there ain't much to say. AJ Green, I picked him up in fantasy this week because I kind of had a feeling that he was going to have a game. And sure enough, he had a touchdown and 3 catches and 56 yards. So, help my game out. Rooting against the Texans, so
Zach Ertz was solid too.
Yeah.
Zach
Ertz is a big.
What do you have?
Like
a 30-40 yard touchdown.
Look, somebody yesterday in the group said that this Cardinals team is the last year Steelers this year. I don't see it. I think they're a top contender in the NFC. Their defense is looking good. Their offense is. I mean, who's going to stop? I mean, the running game's starting to pick up. So, as this Cardinals team's looking real good. So, I'm glad I jumped on the bandwagon in the offseason instead of now. So,
Yeah, this Cardinals team is interesting. I don't know to what extent they've still got, we could say they're the Steelers of last year, but they put a beat down on the Rams. They put a beat down on the Titans. They put a beat down on a lot of these teams that are really kind of the best of the best right now.
They only had 1 game that was under 7 points. 7 points.
And that was
under.
The Niners.
That was the Vikings week 2. Niners.
That was the 34-33. Yeah. Sorry, they a touchdown game against the Niners. But beyond that, Browns. But I think Thursday night's going to be a huge game for them. That Packers-Cardinals game is going to be really interesting. I think that's the first time that defense is going to be tested.
Adams is out, so, I mean, that's going to hurt the Packers.
Okay, is Aaron Rodgers playing?
Yeah, but...
Okay, cool.
I think the Packers are going to get blown out. I think the Packers are going to get blown out because I don't think they have that. They don't have that defense, man. Stop Collar and all that. I'm a Collar believer. I wasn't.
I did too.
I wasn't when he came out because I just thought he was too. I mean, he was talented. I just thought he was too small for the NFL.
Yeah,
but man, he is.
I will say that one more thing about the game. Lil Johnson, or no, it was Malik Collins. He had a sack, but Kyler Murray saw it coming, so he ducked, and so he wrapped his arm around his head and got called for roughing the passer, unsportsmanlike conduct. Dude's 5 foot and you're going to duck. I mean,
he's like 4'8". You're like, what do you want him to do?
Right. Like he did him with his helmet. Yeah, he wrapped his head around his neck. But I mean, well, you can't control that. I mean, they got to fix the taunting and everything. It's just
there's a whole mess. Looking through their schedule though, the rest of the year, Packers this week, then Niners, Panthers suck, Seahawks suck. Bears suck. The Rams, maybe, right? That's going to be. I think they split with the Rams. Lions suck, and then you finish with Colts and Cowboys. Like they really have only 3 more games that are potentially right. I would even say 2. I don't even know about the Colts. Right? We don't know what Colts team you'll get. So you say 2 games, the rest of the way that are semi-tests.
You said Seahawks suck, but that's a division game, and we all know it. Division games hit a lot harder than normal.
And I would say that, but there's no Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot he's been out.
If there is a Russell Wilson,
or Chris Carson. Chris Carson's out too. So
100% agree with you. And against a team like the Cardinals, if you don't have a running game, or some sort of running option to keep that defense off balance, they're going to do what the Titans did to Mahomes. They're just going to tee off on your quarterback, right? And you just have to have a different element in some capacity. You have to have an element that allows some sort of pressure to be off your quarterback, and these teams don't, right? So I would be shocked if the Cardinals, unless they goof up themselves, I don't see them losing until maybe December 13th, and that's another 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, I feel like the Cardinals, as long as Kyler stays healthy, he doesn't get banged up like he did towards the end of last season.
Well, he there was a couple of plays where he got hit. I think it was Gennard who caused a safety. He wrapped around. It was a horse collar. They should have called a flag, but didn't. But he went to the sideline, went to the medical tent because it did not look good at all. So I agree with you there.
Is he your MVP? So far?
Right now?
Yeah,
I would say yeah.
Is it Kyler?
Between Kyler, Josh Allen, and Derrick Henry, you gotta give it to those 3 guys.
I would say Kyler, Derrick Henry. I'm throwing Justin Herbert in there. You guys know I love the Justin Herbert show. Justin Herbert's a fucking beast. I think it's a 3-man race. I think 4-man race, right? I think Josh Allen is in there.
That's why I give the edge. That's why I give the edge to Josh Allen, because Herbert just disappeared against the Ravens. The Bills lost against the Titans, but Josh Allen didn't disappear. He's been consistent. So I think Herbert could get there, but Josh Allen's looking real good, and so is Derrick Henry's hitting his drive. Hate to say it, but
yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Chiefs when they went on the Super Bowl run. It has that kind of feel that offense does. I mean, the team as a whole. I mean, I think the defense is good enough. That Chiefs defense that year was, they had a pass rush, but they were okay against the pass. It just has that feel to it, in my opinion, that they're easily can put up 35 points on you no matter who they play.
Yeah, and their defense will hold up even with that banged up secondary. As long as if they don't play a team that can run the ball, they're going to be fine because they can just semi.
They do a lot of that. They do a lot of that hybrid defense players too, like Simmons. He plays safety and linebacker. The guy they got from Tulsa, I can't think of his name, but the linebacker.
Zayvon Collins.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing about that defense. They can put different people in different spots and just blow up your game plan. So it's a good defense. Very underrated in my opinion.
I'm talking about the Titans defense.
Oh, were you? I thought you were talking about the Cardinals.
Well, unless the Cardinals secondary is banged up as the Titans secondary, I guess I'll be talking
about anybody's as banged up as our secondary.
Because
I will debate you on that one.
But because Farley's out, right? Farley tore his Achilles or something?
ACL.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
who's that Borders guy? That's the guy. I want MPJ to be on that Borders dude because that Borders dude is ass trash. That's who I want MPJ.
Dude, Jenkins is ass too, dude. Jenkins.
Yeah. Oh, and he's like
Jack Rabbit.
Yeah.
Speaking of
the hobbles expired.
Speaking of the Titans, we were talking about Josh Allen. Somebody wrote he did disappear on that 4th down play. So a little shade being thrown there.
Yeah.
So here, I got a question for you guys. All right, going into next week, we'll go through each team and who they're playing. Just say who you think's going to win. So let's start off with the interdivision game, the Titans versus the Colts. Ray, go ahead. Who do you think's going to win that game?
You know what? I'm with Vegas, man. It's a coin flip to me. Really, it's a division. Look, Colts are hitting their stride, right? Titans are hitting their stride. The Colts' back is against the wall, right? This is like a must-win, right?
Sure.
And with Tennessee, it really is. If we really want to kind of solidify us in the division, keep our pedal to the metal as far as a race for that first round bye, we have to win this game too.
I was say not this is a division, but they conference period.
Yeah, conference. Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah, so like this is for all the marbles. So we're going to get I'm sure coaches Vrabel, bring right there, strategizing. They're looking at tape. Plus, we already played each other once, so we got they're going back through that tape. They're looking at everything. We're both banged up. I mean, both got good running backs, so it's gonna be a good game. I really do think it's not gonna be like a surprise where somebody just like opens it up. I don't think so. I think it's gonna be a fight. Who wants it more? So I said at the last podcast last week. I said knowing Titans the way we do. I said if we beat the Bills and we beat the Chiefs, we'll probably lose to the Colts because that's what Titans do. We get hyped up in the media, everything else. Oh, Titans, and then we lay an egg. That's what we do. I said if we lost to the Chiefs, we'd probably beat the Colts because we typically don't lose back-to-back games in the Vrabel. So it's going to be. I'll say this: bring your popcorn because it should be pretty good. Should be pretty good.
All right, Harish. Let's hear your take. Who you think's going to win it?
No, I'm kind of in the same boat. Flip a coin. Like I really don't know. Again, besides hitting our strides, both teams, Carson Wentz will finally get to play a snap behind his first team offensive line. Hopefully, Braden Smith is back next week, and this will really be the first time all year that Carson Wentz will have the protection that he expected all year. So Braden Smith hopefully back. We need Rocky Sin. We need Ty. We just need guys to get back healthy.
And Julian Blackman's out for the year, right?
Yeah, Julian's out for the year. So hope we did all right. But again, Debo is really good, and the key to the game is can this defense for the Colts stay disciplined early and not buy it because I can almost guarantee you. The first 15 plays are all going to be bootlegs and misdirections, and if they can't stay disciplined and just stay home and not get too aggressive, it's going to be it could be a long day because unlike homeboy over there, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Vrabel's not going to stop doing it, right? If he knows it works, I mean, that's the one thing I always give Mike Vrabel credit to. Like he's going to come back to it, and he's going to come back to it more than once. But I'm going to flip a coin. I think we can exploit that secondary because we have a run game to complement it. At the same token, they can exploit our aggressiveness on their offense. But at the same token, both defenses can shut down both offenses, and we have a stalemate. So. You're right. If we want any shot at the division, we have to win this game. You can basically kiss the division bye if you don't win. You're struggling to get back into that 7 seed in the AFC. The good news is after you get the Titans, it eases up a lot, right? You get the Jets and the Jags right after that. So you've got to get this game. This is probably the game of the year. For the Colts. So I don't know. I mean, I really think I really hope and think that the Colts can win, but there's a part of me that if there is a year that we get swept by the Titans for the first time, this is probably going to be that year. There's no excuses this week. Everybody should be back, should be healthy. We've got Carson Wentz doesn't have 2 sprains this time. I think that's what limited him last time. We won the turnover battle 3-0. Tannehill's prone to is prone to get some turnovers. We have the highest turnover margin in the league as far as forcing turnovers and not turning the ball over. So we just got to keep on that pace and just go out there and just play our best ball and just we'll see. I honestly don't have a pick right now because I just don't know.
I can't. Yeah, I can't.
These teams are just too similar.
Yeah,
and the way they run, and I just don't know.
Matt, who would you pick between the two?
I'm picking Titans. They're too good right now. They're catching the heat at the right time. They really are.
Are they?
Well, I'm not saying for the playoffs, but to win the division and all that. Yes.
Oh, to win the division, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing is, do you catch too much? Do you catch heat too early? Right. You really want to peak like end of November, early December. That's when you really want to peak, right?
I didn't say they're peaking. I'm just saying they're catching the heat. So I mean,
okay, fair enough.
They're they're looking good, especially Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I do think the Titans pull it out. I think that their run game is going to compensate for their lackluster defense at this point, and really control the game. But again,
I think it's going to be high scoring, though. It's going to be a high scoring game.
Good take. I like that. So,
I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be one key defensive stop. It's going to be one. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we'll come back and look at this. Be one.
It's going to be the Rams and Chiefs game a couple years back.
It's going to be a special teams play because if you know the last 2 years, one game has always been decided by a special teams play. 2 years ago in Indy, it was the blocked field goal. Last year was the blocked punt. It's going to be a special teams play that decides this game.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
good take. So, hey, Matt, let's go right back to you. Texans play the Rams. And I wanted to state this fact real quick because it kind of took me off guard a little bit. So when we talk about points forced, right, so points that the team has scored, did you know that the Texans are not last in the league in scoring points? Okay. Did you know? Yeah. Can you guess the team that would be last place?
The Jets.
Yeah. The Jets scored 80 points so far. Texans have scored 97. So speaking of that, the Rams, Texans, who do you pick to win?
Oh, I mean, I think Matt Stafford is going to be listening to this podcast, and he's going to be pissed off that we didn't pick him for the MVP race, and he's just going to go out there and ball. I mean, the Texans defense has this is the most underrated quarterback in the league, in my opinion. So I think they're going to just straight up destroy them. The Texans aren't on the road. They only scored 8 points all year long on the road. So I think they might score a touchdown, maybe, hopefully. Give me some hope, but yeah, it's going to be a blowout. I'm going to say 31-10.
Okay. Harish, who do you think?
I think the Texans are going to win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think I'll take Rams like 34-3.
Okay. Ray, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the Rams are gonna.
So it's unanimous. Got it. Rams. So the last game to talk about are the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. No Russell Wilson. I'll start. I know. No Chris Carson. So it's set up for a good game with the Jaguars. But Ray, I'll start with you. Who do you think's going to win?
I think Seattle will win. I think it will. I think that the Jaguars will make it strides though. I think they'll. They're looking. They're getting better. They're getting better. I still don't have faith in Urban. I think Urban's still a piece of crap as an individual, but I think Trevor. This is going to be Trevor's first year. This is good experience for him. But yeah, I feel like you guys will score some points. But yeah, I guess Seahawks.
I appreciate it. Harish, what do you think?
I'm taking the Jaguars again. No Russell Wilson. That Seattle team is completely different without Russell Wilson. They're already not a very good team, and you take Russell Wilson up the mix, they're even worse. No Chris Carson, no Russell Wilson. They basically, hope and pray to DJ is basically what it is, right?
That defense ain't that good either.
And that defense isn't very good. I think James Robinson is going to have a huge game this week. I'm going to take the Jaguars. I'll take the Jaguars like 30-27, 30-25, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Matt, who do you think, man?
Harish beat me to it. Jaguars. I think them beating the Dolphins is kind of set the pace. They know what to do. That's hand the ball off to James Robinson, take some pressure off of Lawrence, and let Lawrence throw the ball. So I know DJ Sark's out for the season, but I think Sonoltz is going to have a big game in Jones, and I think Harish is right. Around 30-21, I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'm kind of as a Jaguars fan myself. I am kind of surprised with the yardage the Seahawks put up against the Steelers defense this week. 5 yards per carry from Alex Collins is huge, and our defense just isn't that good. but I could see this as a game to be a very close game. And I do think it's one, unfortunately, that the Seahawks somehow pull off. I don't think that the Jags have an answer against DK Metcalf. He's just a large, quick human being. So I could see it something like, 21-17 Seahawks. So I hope I'm wrong, but anybody have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, let's go Astros. Game 1 tomorrow, baby. Let's do it.
Bring your popcorn.
Bring your popcorn.
Oats. Must
Right.
TV. Don't call me.
I seriously might keep my mouth shut this week. I don't want any Baltimore material. I don't want any screenshots. I'm banned anyway, so screw you.
Yeah, I was about to say, good thing you said potato, huh?
Yeah.
Potato.
Just let me sit on my couch and clench my butt cheeks, as this game is going to be fucking wild. It's going to be a really good game. There's no weather elements, so yeah. Well, let's get it rolling. I'm excited for. I think this is going to be a good one.
Awesome. Well, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. Real quick, where can we find you on your socials? Matt, where can we find you?
Shadden, Texan fan, everywhere.
Nice. Harish, where can we find you?
You can find me at the Uncle Gandhi everywhere.
All right. And Ray, where can we find you, my man?
RCherry76 everywhere.
Nice. And as your host this week, you can find me at Bearded Guns with a Z at the end on Twitter and almost every social media outlet. And this is the AFC South fan, or excuse me, this is the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. We appreciate you guys tuning in this week. You can find us on our website. You can also find us on Twitter. You can also find us on Facebook, where we have a very large Facebook group, and you can also find us on Discord. And any other channels that I'm missing here?
Did you mention Twitch? We are on Twitch now, YouTube, everywhere.
Twitch and YouTube. So we're pretty much anywhere you go to look, we're there. So tap into those media channels, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Later.